Octa continued to run from their pursuit until he arrived at the boxing gym and met Cosima, who was waiting for him. Winkler also opened fire from the gun he was carrying to make them stop fighting them. But it turned out that Octa was no longer there, which then made Winkler leave the place to find where Octa ran away. Winkler's men could find him, but Octa seemed to have an idea after seeing a patrol car nearby. It turned out that Octa tried to bully the policemen, which of course made them angry, so they finally arrested Octa to be taken to the nearest police station. Octa's intention was actually to let him get caught so that he could get a ride to Mina's house. But on their way to the police station, a car suddenly crashed into the police car, and it turned out that the driver was Winkler. Winkler tried to take Octa away from there, but Octa, who was still strong enough to survive, tried to fight him by taking Winkler's gun. Octa also tried to run away from that place. So did Winkler, after knowing that the two policemen in the car were still safe. Octa was contacted by Paul during his escape and asked what had happened. That was because Annika was in hospital with a broken bone and Bruno was battered. Paul also said that Chino had contacted him and said that he wouldn't do anything if Octa wanted to return to the fight. But Octa didn't care what he said, because for now Octa only had 42 minutes left. Octa arrived at the bakery to pay for the tart he had ordered. It turned out that the bread he had asked Cosima to pick up had not been paid for. Cosima didn't have the money to pay for the birthday cake. Suddenly Winkler was there. Winkler also gave one more chance for him to comply and return to fight with Benko. But Winkler's mistake was to destroy Octa's daughter's birthday cake that he had worked so hard to order for her daughter. Octa was furious and started beating Winkler blindly. If Cosima hadn't been there to stop Octa, maybe Winkler would have been killed by the furious Octa. Otherwise, Octa would kill Paul by himself. Octa went to his parents' house to treat his injuries from the fight. His parents were very surprised to see their son's condition, but Octa asked them not to worry about his condition. Paul also contacted Octa and wanted to make amends or fixed all his fault. Actually, it was he who had rearranged the fight earlier, which meant that he could get a lot of money to pay off all their bills. Octa, who initially didn't care for what he had to say, asked him to meet him when he went to pick up her daughter's surprise pet at the animal shelter. But Octa also realized that Paul was in danger. On his way to the animal shelter, Octa also contacted Rico and said that he knew where Chino was. Rico's flock just wanted to hunt Chino down to collect their winnings. Octa will also send his location once he is at the animal shelter. Long story short, Octa arrived at the cat shelter to pick up the cat he had ordered. Octa also called the police to come to the shelter and told them that he knew where the person who had brought the car that hit the police car was. Octa asked them to bring the SWAT team too, because Octa saw that these people were very dangerous and had a lot of weapons. Not long after, Paul and some of Chino's men arrived at the place. Chino, who also knew Octa's position, asked him to surrender. Chino was furious with them. Because of them, Danica was now chasing him and asking for their bet money. Suddenly from behind, Danica's men were there and started shooting at them. Chino took them both into an empty building nearby. Not long after, the policeman that Octa had called also came to be there. Chino was very frustrated as he had lost all his money because of him. He even shot Paul in the leg and shoulder. And just as he wanted to shoot Octa, Cosima was there and tried to save Octa. They both tried to stop Chino. But Chino still looked strong enough to survive, even able to throw Cosima. Seeing his friend fall from above, Octa was furious and started to beat Paul. But once again, Chino was still able to survive from the attacks launched by Octa. As Chino would try to attack Octa, who looked very weak because getting hit from him, then Cosima, who was still alive, tried to attack him.